and welcome to Ratma TV. This is our very first of a new format, and we welcome Paul and Zeeteah from our winning film from this year's festival, What a Ting, which I mean,
what an epic thing!
What an absolute thing! Yeah,
it was brilliant.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to have you both. So, Paul, tell us how long did it take to make the film, and how did you get about doing it?
Yeah, can I ask what was the inspiration behind the actual song?
Behind the song, we were in the middle of lockdown. Zeeteah wasn't doing any live gigs. So Zeeteah's a singer. She sings does a lot of gigs most of the time, and she wasn't doing any. So it was all a bit of a strange time. We were streaming stuff from home, and we were getting more and more confused about the insanity of the world around us, about what was happening in America with the Republicans and Mr. Trump, about what was happening increasingly in this country, about COVID and the strange way some people were reacting to it, about all the vaccine denialism and stuff like that. And Zeeteah was born in Barbados, and
I was a Bajan by anyone Bajan out there.
Yeah.
I'll get that in.
And there's
Excellent.
a West Indian.
You've got a Facebook page as well, haven't you?
I do, yeah.
so there's a West Indian figure of speech. You want to do it?
Yes. So we say, "What a ting!"
Yeah.
Something's happened, or you're expressing that. Well, what a ting, door.
Meaning what?
What's going on?
Yeah.
What on earth?
It got into my head, and and when something really bizarre happens, I have to say, "What a thing! What a thing!" and it just turned into a song. Yeah. So.
Well, it's infectious. Even the expression's infectious, but the song is infectious as well. So it's, And you wrote that between you, did you, or was it a sort of solo effort? Or?
I kind of wrote it. Yeah. We were out at a gig, and there was some dance music playing with a really great groove, and it just quite often I get ideas for songs when I'm listening to other music. You hear a rhythm or something, and it gives you a jumping off point, and the chorus just jumped into my head on the spot. And I think I wrote the whole song in about a day. Didn't I?
Yeah. So we're on the dance floor, and Paul had his phone. It says, and whatever the track was going, he's going, "What a ting, and he. I thought, wow, this is great, and that's where it started.
I was singing it into the recorder on my phone the way you do nowadays.
Yeah.
As you do.
It's no more than it seems to be. It's just a scream of protest about the way things are at the moment.
So then coming to the performance then, and actually then doing the actual videoing and stuff, obviously, Zeeteah, you must have said, hey, to people you knew and got them involved and dragged them into, because there's obviously the dancers in there and everything, and it's brilliant, And so come on, tell us about that. Tell us about the filming.
Well, actually, that was interesting. There were quite a lot of people that we were hoping to join us, but in the end, they couldn't make it. So we got too lovely.
Well, it wasn't. It couldn't be too complicated because we'd originally had the idea. We had the idea of a big crowd dancing down the street. That was part of the image, and we never actually did that scene because it was so complicated getting everybody together during the lockdown and making that work. And I did a kind of rough storyboard for the video and what we wanted to do, and we've done quite a few videos together over the last few years, but never anything with a choreographed dance routine before.
Okay.
He's a great dancer, but we've never done a sort of choreographed thing. So a friend of a friend is a choreographer, and we talked to them and explained what we were trying to do, and they helped us find the dancers who we didn't know before, who came along. They were great, weren't they? I mean, they were so lucky.
Oh yeah,
two of them.
They were brilliant.
So you've never worked with those dancers before? You seemed very together. It was
lovely. They were just so lovely.
They were very, very lovely. I just like to say hello, ladies.
You should see all the footage we didn't use. Anyway, so we spent one day in a green screen studio. That was the extent of the budget, really. One day in a green screen studio, and half an hour on the street outside.
Yeah.
The scene, and all the rest was done. It was done in the computer.
Wow, it's amazing. It was really good. It was really good, and a really catchy tune. And very well performed as well. And you know,
Yeah.
It was bloody cold out there. The girls did really well.
yeah,
I was able to wear my coat and stuff because I thought can't get cold, but they were just brilliant.
yeah. There's no sympathy when filmmaking, unfortunately, is there?
So you're doing the prima donna bit where you're the Zeeteah, and I can't get cold, but I'm the star.
Yeah, I've done extras work, and they always come up to the stars and they wrap coats on them. And one job I did, half of us were naked. I wasn't naked. God, there's not enough money. But basically, and it was pouring down, and there was all these students who turned up to do the naked stuff and everything, and it was just awful. And you know, eventually they were giving, they were giving people coats eventually, but it was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they do that sometimes. It's not very nice.
No, it can be a bit cruel.
Yes, it can.
So where do you normally perform, Zeeteah? Where's your normal day job then for performing?
I don't have a normal one as such, but where I've been performing in the last 10 years since I lived in Germany. I lived in Germany for 11 years. So
Whereabouts?
I lived in Cologne.
Okay, nice.
Cologne.
Cologne, yeah.
Yeah. I spent nearly 5 years there myself. Yeah, nine. Well, ich spreche keine Deutsch now, but you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. So I was going to say, I came back from Germany after 11 years, and I got some gigs at the Pizza Express.
You know, they have a series of jazz clubs all over London.
Do they?
Yes,
they're different to Pizza Express up here.
They're very different.
Not quite.
No, there's some, but Zeeteah sings at lots of jazz venues in London, sings fairly regularly at those places. But we're doing more festivals now because you get to reach a bigger audience that way.
Yeah, I was just going to say that the gigs that I was doing was at the Pheasant Tree and at Dean Street, and where else?
And Crazy Cox, at
Crazy
the
Cox, that's right,
Hippodrome,
Hippodrome.
and all sorts of places.
Yeah, but we're looking for festivals now for the new year. So because more and more people can see us, and people want to dance at the gigs at the Pizza Express. You couldn't really. It's like a dinner and a show, and people get up, of course, but it still doesn't feel right. It's reggae music. People want to get up and move themselves.
There's a better vibe at festivals, is there?
Yeah, obviously. There's no doubt about that. So we're looking to get some next year, aren't we?
But there's a great club in London called the Jazz Cafe in Camden.
Oh yeah.
Place. It holds about 500 people. Great place. A big dance floor and then a sort of seated dining area at the top. And Zeeteah's doing 4 nights there in
4 nights in
December.
December, supporting Alexandra O'Neill.
Oh, wow.
All right, nice.
Woo, name drop.
For now. It's very good. All right, well, I got the idea of the type of jazz you do. I like a bit of jazz, but there is some jazz I'm not over fond of.
There's so much jazz, isn't there?
Yeah. It's a varied, very varied.
And all that jazz, as they say.
As Duke Ellington said, there are only 2 kinds of music: good music and bad music.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I must admit, I've not got a category I like. I just have a wide, various range of stuff. Sure. And
it's impossible to just say we like this music. Music is
I think it's very eclectic. My taste is very eclectic, but also I think each genre, you can't say, oh, I like glam rock or whatever, because some glam rock is terrible. And it varies a lot. I like jazz, but I find a lot of it relaxing, but then some of it I find sets my teeth on edge because it's not quite
I think it depends on mood as well.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let's get back to making movies.
Come on,
we've gone away, but obviously, the song itself was very, very catchy and a bit of a earwig, as they say. So it came about because of current state of affairs. I do feel like sometimes when you see the news that we are living in a movie, that we are literally in this film production of life, and especially with American politics, which is just mad.
Mental, isn't it?
It really is mad, isn't it? It's like, wow, okay. But yeah, so have you got any projects on the go at the moment, or anything that you're working
a
on?
new album coming out in 2 weeks' time.
An album.
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent.
And we've made a little short movie video to go with that, just a little making of videos. It's less than 15 minutes long, but it's just sort of behind the scenes and showing, because we recorded the entire album at home. We're very lucky to be able to do. Luckily, we've got room here to do this and do that, and we've got a little recording studio which we're sitting in at the moment.
Oh, cool.
Back of it behind us. We recorded the whole album here over the last year with Zeeteah's band, and we've had 4 singles out from it so far. And,
So what's the album called, and where can anyone get it from?
Now guess what the album's called. Go on.
What a Ting.
It's I hope it's the first #1 from the album. So where can we get it from?
all your usual streaming services: Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon, everywhere.
Ah, good. All right.
Okay.
I've got an Alexa in my car.
I'll put some links in the description and stuff if you let me have them. I'll basically put some links in.
We'll send you a CD if you want, if you've got a CD player.
What's one of them? I have actually.
I have in the computer. I have in the computer, but that's, oh no, my alarm clock's a CD player.
People still buy CDs at gigs. I'm not quite sure why. It's just they want a souvenir, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
No, my brother-in-law still has half a house full of vinyl, so he's still picking the stuff up. So there's no accounting for taste.
So
I think music tastes better on vinyl, quite honestly. It just doesn't I say taste.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. You can't digitalize that essence, can you, that you get from the analog sort of recording. They try, but it's not quite right.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll have an argument about that another time.
I'm absolutely tone deaf.
You see, Paul's getting the idea. Shut him down, quick! He's going to talk again.
I must admit that I'm tone deaf. So basically, at the end of the day, it can be on. It can be on a can, and I wouldn't know any different.
I see the director in you coming out there, Paul. So
right. So we always ask our guests a quick question, a little bit of fun. And to both of you now, so you can both answer this. Yeah. So what I'm going to ask is, have you ever received a really bad piece of advice that you actually took? And
shall I start?
Yeah.
Go on then.
You warned us in advance you were going to ask this question, and I sort of thought about it, and I've had lots of good advice over the years and some bad advice, but the thing that actually sprung to mind was way back in the 80s when I was in a pop group, and we were a trio, and we had a few hits, and we were doing quite well, and we were busy making an album, and for some reason we were very big in Australia, and we had #1 in Australia, and they went crazy about what we were doing. I don't know why. And the Australian record company kept calling up and saying, you have to come over here, you have to come over here and do some TV and do some PAs and, you know, promote the album because it's doing really well. And it was a long way to go, and we were really busy, and we kept saying, oh, we haven't got time, and they kept nagging. And I was really busy in the studio finishing off the album because I produced a lot of it, and the record company, the head of the record label, was signed to, gave me what I think is the worst piece of advice I've ever received, which was, why don't you stay behind and the other two can go over there and promote the album? You can stay in the studio and they can go and do that. They'll do all the hard work and you can just get all that you're doing. And I said, great idea, I'll do that. So they got on a plane, I stayed behind. They got to Australia. When they landed, there was about 1,000 people on the tarmac cheering. And there was a limo waiting to take them to their individual penthouse suites.
No.
And they were just treated like rock stars, and the record label was saying, you know, we don't know what sort of drugs you want, just let us know. We didn't know if you preferred boys or girls, so we provided both, just anything else you need, you know. And I missed it.
The
Rockstar for a week. Anyway,
dear.
thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave.
That is bad advice. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Don't go on a free jolly to Australia. Yeah. Oh dear.
And,
Zeeteah,
and
what about
did you
yourself?
enjoy all the hard work back at home?
Well, the album turned out all right, so yes.
Did they come back? That's the
Sadly, they did, reluctantly, yes.
So Zeeteah, what's the bad piece of advice that you've?
I honestly have been racking my brain and I can't think of. I've been given some advice, but I'm not sure if I should say what it is because I didn't take it. It's I'm not sure if I should say what it is.
Well, it's up to you. I don't know.
It's up to you. No, if you don't,
I don't think I will because it's quite personal. In a way.
Also, it probably identify the person who gave it to you. And
yeah.
By now, anyway, because it was.
Well, there you go.
But I tell you what, we can tell you the best piece of advice we've ever been given.
Oh, go on then.
Send the video for What a Ting to the Ratner Film Festival.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you say all the right things.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's brilliant. All right then. Picture the scene. You've just heard the alarm that there is an apocalypse, zombified or whatever apocalypse, and you grab the TV and the DVD and run out to your bunker. Yes. What film are you hoping is still in the DVD player? What are you going to watch for the rest of the apocalypse?
Is anybody able to answer this question? It's such a tough question. If you like movies, how can you pick one? I mean,
that's the difficulty.
Casablanca, Apocalypse Now, No Country for where do you know?
Apocalypse Now, good call. I like that one.
I think if I had to be one, I think it might. After all these years, it might still be that. It might still.
Well, then.
Yeah, maybe.
Was that the I love the smell of napalm in the morning?
Is that all the other ones? Those, yeah, those. Horror.
Yeah.
There's actually quite a lot of trivia behind that film, Apocalypse Now.
In the making of thing that they did about it, it was unbelievable film to make because Francis Coppola's wife wrote a book about, because she was with him the whole way, and making the film was like fighting a war. They just went out there and they were lucky they ever came back.
Yeah, I can imagine. It looked like they were lucky.
Well, Brando himself was obese, and he turned up and they were like,
he turned up, he weighed roughly twice as much as they were expecting him to, and he hadn't read the script, let alone learn any of the lines. So Coppola just put him in the shadows.
Put him in the shadows.
One line at a time. You know?
Because he was a big fat slob, and they were like, "What?" So put him in the dark. You know, and
one of the greatest soundtracks. I think that film has got one of the greatest soundtracks.
Well, that's the reason for taking it all by itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, yeah.
If you're going to be in the bunker, you've got to have music playing in the background anyway, because you could just play the film in the background and not watch it. It's brilliant. What about you, Zeeteah?
Well, I did have a think about this one, and I was thinking probably Get Out or Girls Trip.
Okay, so
guess what? Never watched either of those.
I think I might. Girls Trip rings a bell.
Girls Trip, yes, it had Regina Bell, Queen Latifah, Jada Pinkett Smith, Tiffany Haddish. It's just mental, and I definitely think it would be that.
It's a comedy.
But Get Out is a great film. If you've never seen it, Get Out is that film with an all-black cast. It's a horror film with an all-black cast.
And it won. What didn't it win an Oscar? It won.
Yes,
a few
it won an
things,
Oscar. I'm not sure what for.
Gonna have to put that in the links as well, Gareth.
I'll have to, Get Out. Make a note.
Called Nope as well. That's just
but
come
same
out.
director, yeah.
Same director.
Cool. I have to look into those. Brilliant.
Nice.
You see, that it wasn't that difficult to answer, really, was it, Zeeteah? I don't think what Paul's going on about, really.
No, the other one was one. Well, we're going to have to wrap up, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're going to have to wrap up.
Again, for that wonderful award. It's a real honour to be recognised in that way, and congratulations on the great work you guys are doing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Not a problem.
It's
With
easy,
regards to the
it's
award. It
easy
was
when the
very well
good films come in. It's easy when the good films come in.
It does actually make it easy when the good films come in. But no, thank you very much for that. That's been really good chat. It's been really good to find out more about the making of it and the rest of it. And hello, ladies.
Tell me, does that hat ever work?
No, it's
Nothing works.
it's my news hat, but at the end of the day, it's been up there so long, it's collected dust. So it's yeah, we used to do news on the show, but we sacked it. Anyway, right. So, well, that's it.
Signing off. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Can you squeeze 10 minutes out of that, do you think?
Yeah,
Easily.
yeah. Basically, keep making great films, and what we'll do is we will look forward to seeing you work in the future. Really.
Well, fantastic. Thank you. We'll definitely be entering next year. Keeping our fingers crossed. Bye-bye.
Excellent. Bye for now. Fantastic.